Welcome back to Inside the Release, the weekly podcast where we walk through the latest updates to the Revii platform and talk about what they mean for you and your team. I'm Justin.
And I'm Savannah. This is only episode 2, and honestly, we're already getting into a groove here.
2 episodes in, we're basically experts at this point.
So true. And we've got a really solid release to dig into this week. New features, some meaningful updates, a good handful of bug fixes, and a dedicated mobile section.
That's right. But let's start at the top with new features because there are 3 of them this week and they're all worth talking about.
Let's do it.
So the first one is something project managers are going to love. Milestones have been added to projects. If you're managing projects in the system, you can now mark critical dates and deadlines directly on the project as point-in-time markers.
And these aren't tasks. Milestones have no duration, no assignees. They're purely about visibility. At a glance, you can see the key dates that matter for a project without having to dig through task lists.
Right. And they show up in all the right places. The project detail page, the projects list, and the Gantt chart. So whether you're in the weeds of a project or reviewing things from a higher level, those milestones are right there.
For anyone managing multiple projects or juggling tight deadlines with clients, this is a really practical addition. It brings the system more in line with how project managers actually think about tracking progress.
Agreed. Okay, the second new feature is the Addresses tab on tickets. When a ticket is created, it will now automatically pull in the customer's default bill to and ship to addresses and display them right on the ticket.
And the labeling is really clear. Billing for the invoicing address and service for the delivery or service location. There are even tooltips explaining what each one is used for, which is a nice touch for new users or anyone who might not be sure which address applies.
What I like about this one is the flexibility. Those addresses default to whatever is set on the customer account, but they can be edited to any address associated with that customer. So if a service call is going to a different location than the default, you can update it right on the ticket without having to go back to the customer record.
That kind of contextual address visibility is really useful for field teams and dispatch workflows. Having that information right on the ticket just removes friction.
Exactly. And for the third new feature, there's a new Notes tab on the customer profile screen. This one is just the beginning of something bigger.
Definitely. And it's worth paying attention to because it's not just a new tab, it's part of a transition. The Notes tab is eventually going to replace the existing Journal tab.
Right? So if you're a heavy journal user today, don't panic. Your existing entries aren't going anywhere yet, but the new Notes tab is where you'll want to start adding new notes going forward. You can add notes, mark them as high priority, and set them to pop up on the account. The experience is cleaner and more straightforward than the journal has been.
We'll talk more about the journal transition in the updates section, but the headline is, start getting familiar with the Notes tab now.
We've also got 2 really exciting AI-powered features this week, and I feel like these deserve some extra attention.
Definitely. And the first one is really exciting. Tickets now include a collapsible AI-powered summary right at the top of each ticket. So instead of scrolling through every section to get up to speed, managers can get a quick overview at a glance.
And it covers everything. Activity notes, items and services, parts and labor, time logs, tasks, purchase orders, and additional information. It's like having someone hand you the cliff notes before a meeting.
That's exactly what it is. And what's really cool is that ticket summaries are also available through Revii, Revio's AI assistant, via voice or text. So you can just ask it to summarize a ticket directly. Try something like summarize ticket X or summarize parts and labor for ticket Y.
For managers handling high ticket volumes, this is a real time saver. Instead of opening a ticket and reading through everything to understand where things stand, you've got the summary right there waiting for you.
Love it. And the second AI feature this week is Revii Voice Duplex, which is now available in the Revii chat window. This one is pretty exciting. It enables hands-free, real-time two-way voice conversations with the Revii AI agent.
So instead of typing your prompts, you can just talk to it.
Exactly. And there are 7 voice options to choose from with adjustable speech speed, so you can tailor the experience to your preference. Auto detection handles the rest. To enable it, just open Revii and click the microphone icon. Voice and speed settings are available in the top right of the Revii window.
Between the ticket summaries and Voice Duplex, Revii is becoming a really powerful part of the day-to-day workflow. These aren't just cool features, they're genuinely practical time savers. And with that being said, let's get into the updates.
So, a big theme in the updates this week is the Journal to Notes transition. The Journal tab is now in read-only mode, meaning your existing entries are still visible, but new notes should be added through the Notes tab. There's even a banner on the Journal tab pointing you in that direction.
And the terminology is being updated to match. The journal action type section in system settings has been renamed to note type to align with the new notes tab. So if you're setting up or managing system configurations, just know that name has changed.
It's a thoughtful transition. Nothing is being ripped out all at once. Existing data stays intact, the old tab is still visible, and users are being guided toward the new experience gradually. In a future release, existing journal entries will be migrated over to Notes automatically.
Nice and clean. The other update worth calling out is for administrators managing the customer portal. You can now show or hide the contacts section in the portal using a new toggle on the portal configuration screen.
Simple, but really useful for organizations that want tighter control over what's visible to their customers in the portal. If the contacts section isn't relevant for your customer's portal experience, you can just turn it off.
All right, let's talk bug fixes. And Savannah, there are a lot of them this week.
There really are. First up, a fix on the ticket list menu. Previously, clicking the menu icon on the ticket list was incorrectly navigating you to the ticket detail view instead of showing the menu options. That's been corrected. The menu now behaves as expected.
Next, the SMS opt-in pop-up at login. If you had already saved your preference, that pop-up was reappearing on every subsequent login anyway. That's been fixed. It'll now only appear once, as it should.
This next one is a big one for billing workflows. The Send to Billing button on a ticket now properly applies taxes to parts and labor line items when creating transactions. If you've noticed taxes not coming through correctly on ticket transactions, this is the fix.
And we've got a couple of ticket voiding fixes. When voiding a ticket in an open or new state, the system was incorrectly displaying a permission error about reopening closed tickets, which didn't even apply to what you were trying to do. That error is gone, and the void operation now completes cleanly.
Related to that, the void status option has been removed from the status dropdown on the ticket activity tab. It wasn't functioning properly from that view anyway, and tickets should only be voided through the proper workflow. Removing it from that dropdown just prevents confusion.
And finally, the work requested field and activity card now stay intact when you assign a ticket to a customer or transfer it from one customer to another. Previously, that content was occasionally being deleted during that process, which was a frustrating issue. I'm glad that's resolved now.
Me too. And wow, what a good batch of fixes this week. Let's wrap up with the mobile updates.
Starting with the big one, push notifications. Users can now receive push notifications on their mobile devices and tap directly into the relevant ticket from the notification.
This is huge for field technicians and anyone who needs to stay on top of ticket activity without constantly checking the app. It works on both iOS and Android, manages notification preferences, tracks delivery status, and even synchronizes unread badge counts across multiple devices.
So if you're working across a phone and a tablet, your badge counts stay in sync. Really well thought out.
Next, inventory and serialized item icons are now displayed on parts and labor items in the mobile app. You'll see them in the selection list when adding or editing items and on the ticket detail screen. It's a small visual cue, but it helps technicians quickly identify item types in the field without having to second guess what they're working with.
And last, the customer list in mobile now shows the customer account number instead of the customer ID when the two differ. There's also a dedicated account number field on the customer summary screen below the customer ID. For teams using internal account numbers instead of Revii assigned IDs, this makes it a lot easier to find and confirm the right customer record on the go.
These were some really solid mobile updates this week.
Agreed. Before we wrap up, we want to thank all of the clients who shared their feedback and submitted ideas. Your input directly helps shape the direction of the platform and the features we prioritize.
That's a wrap on episode 2 of Inside the Release. Milestones and projects, an addresses tab on tickets, the new customer notes tab, 2 great AI enhancements, a ton of bug fixes, and a great batch of mobile updates.
What a great release. We'll be back next time with whatever the next release brings.
I can't wait. And if you've got questions about anything we covered today or feedback you want to share with the team, please let us know in the community. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to Inside the Release. We'll see you next week.